I wanted to just take a moment and thank you for your presence today at the annual Remember My Name Vigil. Statistics report that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced domestic violence in some shape or form. Each week, our district court sees an average of 100 people a week seeking domestic violence protective orders. Today, we remember the names of those victims who have lost their lives to this crime against humanity by saying their names and through the display of shoes. We honor their families who still grieve their absences, as no amount of time passage will ever heal the holes left in the family units and hearts. Your presence today is a step towards justice, a step towards ending the cycle of domestic violence, and a step towards empowering the voice of others desperately struggling to escape.
What a beautiful day for this event. And this is the second year I've had a chance to come out and be a part of this very important event. Purple is my favorite color, but not necessarily for the reasons that we're here gathered today, which are absolutely devastating impacts that are associated with domestic violence. My battle buddy in the back over here, Command Sergeant Major Seymour, and I are absolutely privileged to be here with you to stand firmly with this community against domestic violence and the poison that it creates within families and the generational impacts that it has. Certainly the military community is no less impacted than those off post by domestic violence. Domestic violence makes a place that should be a refuge, our homes, a place of comfort and stability for our children, no longer that. It creates a problem that lasts generations. In some cases, creates tragedy that impacts neighborhoods long after the departure of the victims. Nobody should have to face this alone, and that's why we're here today. Family and friends, a community that surround the victims of domestic violence, and say we will not stand for this anymore. We will not allow this to happen in our communities. That the victims of domestic violence are heard, and we will surround them with love and protection that they so richly deserve. The Army is making our own strides to try to change the impacts of domestic violence and to prevent it altogether. The Family Advocacy Program and our staff members are dedicated volunteers and employees at Army Community Service stand ready to listen to the needs of our victims and to prevent any of the horrible impacts of domestic violence. These professionals work with victims to address things like safety and connect them to emergency services, counseling, emotional support. We allow them and enable them to find housing and shelter after they become victims, or hopefully before. And we provide them access to financial and legal services. But still, the numbers are too large. The DoD encounters 10,000 cases a year of domestic violence. We here at Fort Liberty had approximately 385 cases last year. That is 385 cases too many. And so we are here today to say no more. No more. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. But at Fort Liberty, we talk about what liberty looks like. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that liberty looks like this. A community dedicated to the principle that not just October, but every month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. That we will stand together as a community in prevention and protection. Today we are here to honor 63 lives and loved ones who were remembered. But in truth, this is about a community that stands ready to prevent another victim, to prevent the impacts of domestic violence and make this an environment where all are safe, all are loved, all are protected. Thank you. Thank you for showing us what liberty looks like. Let us all now unite as a community to remember, honor those who are not with us here today, and come together as a community, as one, to say no more. Liberty looks like this. Thank you.
My name is Sharnessa Ridley, and I am the Deputy Director, the Council for Women and Youth Involvement. We are here tonight to bear witness to lives that have been lost, to voices silenced, to families shattered, and dreams extinguished, all because of domestic violence. Being a voice for the voiceless has been my life's work for over 16 years. While I wish that we were gathered for a different reason, I look around and I feel a lot of gratitude at the number of people who showed up tonight or who put together work to make sure that this event happened. You are here because one life lost to domestic violence was one life too many, and we appreciate you for your service and for your commitment. So we're gathered here today to remember, to reflect, and to unite in our commitment to end domestic violence. Domestic violence is not an isolated issue. It is a devastating, pervasive problem that affects millions worldwide. It transcends boundaries of age, of race, of religion, of socioeconomic status, and geography. According to the North Carolina Domestic Violence Commission, there have been 51 domestic violence-related homicides so far in this calendar year. A staggering 17 of these tragedies ended in murder-suicide. At least 36 of the 51 homicides were people of color. Firearms emerged as the weapon of choice in all of these acts of violence, accounting for 80% of murders and 100% of all the suicides. Each one of these numbers represents a human life, a story that was cut short, a family that was left in despair. Each one of these numbers represents a desperate call for change. 4 communities have borne the brunt of these losses this year: Guilford, Robeson, Mecklenburg, and the place where our feet stand today in Cumberland. Your pain is our pain, and your fight is our fight. But tonight, we shine a light on this issue. In their names, in their memories, let us pledge to turn grief into action. Let us pledge to make our homes, our communities, and our society free for all and safe for all. Let us pledge to ensure that their lives were not lost in vain. To those who lost their loved ones, I am sorry, and that sorry is not enough. You did not deserve it. You did not deserve for your family circle to be broken in that way. Your loved one should still be here. I hope that you're getting the resources and the healing that you need. Trauma unchecked and unhealed changes us in unimaginable ways. What would your loved one want from you today? How do you find it? And I hope that you go get it. As we remember the lives lost, let us not forget the survivors who live with the trauma of domestic violence every day. Let us stand together, united in a shared commitment to a future that is free from violence, fear, and suffering. We pledge to raise our voices and work towards a world where no one has to endure pain and fear of domestic violence. To create this change, we must first acknowledge the devastating impact of domestic violence on individuals and in our communities. It's not just physical violence. It's physiological, it's emotional, it's financial abuse that erodes a person's sense of worth. It leaves scars that may never fully heal, and obviously it shatters entire communities and families. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It is a public health crisis. It is a human rights issue. It is a social injustice that we cannot ignore. But here's a good thing, if there is such a thing. Each of us has the power to make a difference. In this crowd today, we have survivors who have bravely shared their stories, advocates who tirelessly work to provide support, and community members who are determined to change the status quo. Our strength lies in our collective actions. We can start by breaking the silence. We must encourage survivors to speak out and to seek help. We need to believe them, we need to support them, and never blame. If you are a survivor, please know that you are not alone. We stand with you, and we are here to help. Additionally, we must hold abusers and harm doers accountable for their actions. We should support organizations and systems that work to prevent and respond to domestic violence, from law enforcement to shelters to counselors to support groups. Education and awareness is also very crucial. We must teach our children about healthy relationships, consent, and empathy. By fostering a culture of respect and understanding, we can prevent the cycle of violence from repeating itself in future generations. And lastly, we must advocate for policies that protect survivors and break the cycle of abuse. This includes stronger legal protections, affordable housing, access to appropriate, quick, and speedy mental health services, and financial resources for survivors. In closing, domestic violence is a complex issue, but it's not insurmountable. Together we can make a difference. By standing together, by speaking out, by working for change, we can create a world where love and respect triumph over fear and abuse. Let us remember those who have suffered and let their stories fuel our determination. Let us unite in our resolve to end domestic violence and create a world and a future where everyone can live free from fear, in dignity, and with security.
Listen so that you may remember their names. Tina Sedbury Carlton. Jude Shaw, Cumberland County. Aaliyah Maddie Balola. Anita Hyatt. Gail Lynn Plotner. Jamelia Rogers. Robert Allen Williams. Kayla Hammonds. Travion Williams. Heather Michelle Spear Grant. Melanie Perez Alvarez. Derek Samuel Spell, Cumberland County. Wayne Stevenson Evans. Daisha Janice Gentry. Natasha Yvette Walker. Athea Creighton. Kason Creighton. Nyla Creighton. Nasir Creighton. Deborah Anna Jackson. Annaline Julia Trock. David Wayne Owens. Ashley Aaron Scoggins. Alvis Gentry. Heather Davenport Small. Quantel Tamel White. Amanda English. Lauren Michaela Mickey Payne. Diana Truelove Thompson. Rivette Patrice Robinson. Joanna Barrett. Audrey White. Audrey White. Michelle Marcinkus Walter. Nicole Bullock. Erica Thomas. Victoria Oxendine. Jana Lee Barnes. Zana Shanae Locklear. Jamie Hicks Long. Nabaruna Karamakar. Quentin Earl Dorge. Yanitza Arroyo Torres, Cumberland County. Blanca Lacortiglia. Rufus Singletary. Ronnie Koch. Antoine Durrell Chisholm. Tatiana Haywood, Cumberland County. Rannie Renee Barnes. Bobby Jean Woolard. Rosa Outlaw. Eddie Jones. James Dwight Peacock. Sandra Robinson, Cumberland County. Jasmine Cooper and her unborn baby girl. Alicia Watts. Gwendolyn Lavon Riddick. Samantha Bryant. Shantae Espadille Taylor. Ashley Webb. We must remember their names. Take a moment at this time and in quiet, remember their names.